Name's Wild Red Richards, but everyone just calls me Red. Born in Fremantle, Australia, or New Holland Hustle as my puppy used to call it, to a couple of British convicts. Made a bit of a reputation for myself, I guess, as a bounty hunter in the capture and kill of noble Australian bushrangers Moonlight Joe and the Kelly gang. It's still my home, but it became way too civilized for my liking. You can always go bush, I guess. There's no money to be made there, so I packed up my gear and hitched a boat to the United States of America, where I hear the West remains untamed. Full of bandits and criminals and fortunes lost as easily as they are made. Seems just a place to etch out my legend. The boat docked in a city by the name of St. Denis. I took one whiff of that stench of civilization and hopped on the first boxcar out of that city with the man I met on the voyage over. His name was Jimmy Frisco. Some sort of treasure hunter, it seemed. Seemed nice though, but also seemed just as likely to put a bullet in your back over an ounce of gold. We parted ways at roads, and he headed north to find his fortune, and I headed into town to find mine. Made my way to the local sheriff to see if he had any work for a man of my talents.
I thought you said they'd be here.
That's what I thought.
Is this them?
Nope. Oh, there they are in the wagon. That's her.
Whoa there. You all looking for the Twin Rocks gang?
Isn't everybody?
I got them for you. In the back. Go ahead. Count them up. They're all there.
God damn. 1, 2, 2.5.
Let me get you your money. That's something. Bringing all them boys in, you know.
Bounty hunting ain't so hard. Any fool can do it.
I ain't so sure.
How about you there? You fool enough to try? Become a bounty hunter? There's a board up at most every jailhouse and post office. The sheet's going up regular. All you need is a license, which the sheriff will sell you. You can take down a poster and go. Alive, get your full price. Dead, a little less. You go after one of the big ones, I'll tell you what I know about them, as a favor. The worst that can happen is they kill you.
There's only 9. I counted them twice.
There was 10 when I pulled up. I know you're hiding out there. You got 10 seconds to turn yourself in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
No.
2,
No, please.
1.
Please, no.
There's your 10.
Clean it up, Archibald.
If it ain't all here, I will be back.
I'm sure you will.
That one there might want a bounty hunting license. Help him out, won't you?
That true? You want a license? You want to get registered, you're gonna have to say. Here you go, then. You are now permitted to use all appropriate force in the apprehension of outlaws in these states. You are a bounty hunter.
Well, it was all the money I had in the world. But a man's got to start somewhere, and bounty hunting without a license will likely result in a man ending up on the wrong end of a noose sooner or later. I got right back to work and built a bit of a reputation for myself as a bounty hunter who never missed a target and always got his man. The people of Rhodes held me in high regard, and I even managed to secure a nice land plot on the Lanache River. Spent my days fishing, hunting game, and hunting men. It was a nice life. Didn't have many visitors, but that's the way I liked it. Still, from time to time, a traveler would come along, and mostly we would just exchange a nod and a look. But on one occasion, I made a mistake. I engaged in talk with one of these travelers, and it changed my life forever. His name was Joaquin, Jack, Santiago, a.k.a. Old Man Devil, Mexican by the sound of it. Apparently he made a bit of a reputation for himself as a trader and was heading west to find his fortune. Weren't they all? Weren't they all? Anyway, this Jack, he gets to telling me that the only thing he's worried about out west is the bandits and outlaws. He says they've got a lot of nasty fellas out there who'd kill to make their money out of robbing and killing traders like himself. He's not worried though, he said, as he pats his showing off double-barreled shotgun, which he dubs Fire and Brimstone. I sent him on his way and thought not more of it for the time. As much as I tried, I couldn't keep my mind off the West and the outlaws and the legends to be forged. Plus, Rose was becoming too civilized for my liking. And, to tell you the truth, so was I. So I packed my gear and took the steamer across the great flat iron lake in the state of West Elizabeth. Boat lands in an up-and-coming town called Blackwater. I grab a bounty right off the board and head out west. Don't make it more than a few miles when some bounty hunters come up my tail. Pretty sure these guys just wanted to stake their claim and rough arm me out of their territory. I've seen it before. Hell, I've done it before.
Found him. Why don't you just come in peaceable? Save me some bullets.
So I get off my horse and holster my pistol, with my hands up. Look to have a civilized conversation.
Better than getting brought in dead,
Next thing you know, I'm arrested. Locked up in the Blackwater jail and facing a kangaroo court bullshit trial where I'm done for the murder of some bigwig in town named Leclerc. Told them I'd spent all of 2 minutes in their shithole town, but they didn't care. Just needed someone to pin their crime on, I reckon, and I was a fresh-faced drifter from what they could tell.
Okay, Sheriff. Here they are.
Tell the Marshal this ain't how we do things here. But I'll oblige him this once. All right. Let's see what we got. Okay, you head through there. If it's all correct, I'll take a photograph. Bring your hands up onto your chest.
So that's how I ended up in Siska. It was a pretty uneventful 6 months, although I did meet an interesting fellow named Dr. Christopher Rogers. He was an actual doctor at one stage. He seemed he'd put too much stake in snake and potions and whatnot, and he'd dished out the wrong remedy to the wrong person and got himself locked up as a result.
Jackson! Officer Jackson, move those prisoners! Officer Benton! Kitchens aid staff! Officer Townsend, those rocks ain't gonna break themselves. What are you standing there for? Get moving! What are you looking at? Go on, get moving!
You,
You with the hammer, and you'll do. You need to perform a work detail out near Blackwater. Come on, get in. Open the gate. Come on, Milliken. Yeah! I tell you what, old Jameson is a wretched, sour old bastard, and no mistake. You lot stay calm in there.
You aren't saying nothing.
Well, you are now. Shut up. You know, my wife has acquired ideas significantly above her station. She's been reading too many goddamn books. Personally, I'm against education. Of women, I mean. And men, I guess. Unnecessary. Doesn't add much to the world. Education.
Good day, gentlemen.
Oh.
Don't do anything stupid. Nobody gets shot. Act like fools, and the pair of you will be dead within a minute. Now, what are your names?
Jenkins and Milliken.
Well, Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Milliken, throw your guns to the ground and get on down here. That's it. Very glad to meet you. It's not worth being rash. You boys get paid a salary. You get that salary whether these people escape or not. Your wives presumably want you alive. Let them out. Now, please.
Okay.
You all run away. Aside from you. Try to stay out of trouble. This is a stroke of good fortune for all of you. Use it. Now, Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Milliken, be so kind as to quickly run away before somebody gets shot entirely unnecessarily. Go on, don't look back. Mr. Wendt, I believe it was $50 we agreed on.
It was.
Here's 50 each.
Each?
Yes. Now get out of here, both of you. My employer and I appreciate your professionalism.
All we did was stand there and look tough.
And you did it fantastically well. Good day, gentlemen. Now, sir, how about you pick up these guns and we move out? My mistress is waiting for us. It's not much of an animal, but we haven't got far to ride. Get on the horse there. Ready? Wonderful. I hope you'll forgive the secrecy. My employer particularly values discretion. My name is Mr. Horley, by the way. 6 months at Sisika Penitentiary, awaiting a hanging for a murder you did not commit. Must have felt a whole lot longer, my friend. You still seem strong, though. I mean, doesn't look like breaking all those rocks has left you entirely broken, in body or in spirit. I hope I'm right about that. Rounding you folks up in those sham trials, they were a disgrace. Made a mockery of the rule of law. Still can't quite believe they got away with it. There's others convicted when you were. Came out breathing fire. And you're like that too. Guess we'll see. Or maybe you just want to put it all behind you, forget you were in there at all. That would be fine, of course, but you will listen to my mistress first. Spent a good sum getting you folks out. You owe her an audience, at least. You've been away for a while, so we'll help you get set up in the world. And if you want to accept our offer, you can. That's more than reasonable. We're freedom out on the range to wait a few moments longer. Can it? He's just up here. There's the camp. Get your horse. This way. She's anxious to meet you. Madam, we're back.
Hello. Jessica Leclerc, how do you do? What did you tell him?
Nothing, as we discussed.
Thank you, Horley. I do hope we haven't inconvenienced you dreadfully, But seeing as you were due to be hanged in a week, I'm sure you don't object too strongly. I know you're innocent. Well, not perhaps exactly innocent, but not guilty of what you were accused. I know you and those who were with you that died were little more than patsies, and that you were set up by one of 3 men or a woman, possibly by all of them. I can't be sure, but that is all I know so far.
And one of these people also made Mrs. Leclerc a widow.
And I will avenge my husband's death, so help me God. But I will not avenge it upon them who did not cause it, or caused it unwittingly. Anyway, I'm sure this is all a touch confusing and melodramatic. Where are my manners? Hawley, please show our guests to their tent and give them some fresh clothes to put on.
Very good, madam.
Then serve us both a little refreshment.
Certainly, madam. This way. You'll find a change of clothes in there, alongside a few other items you might need, a lasso, a knife, and a lantern, I believe.
That looks more comfortable. Hawley,
Here, madam.
your very good health. I suppose it beats dying,
Mrs. Leclerc's husband was murdered by one of his business partners.
And I intend to find out which one. Or rather, I intend for you to find out. And kill them. You're the only person I could possibly trust to do whatever it takes. Because you and your accomplices, you're the only other victims of their lies still alive. You see, you walked into the town at approximately the same time my husband was shot in the back, but by another gun, firing different bullets to those you possessed when you were arrested. These bullets, this was their mistake. You were rounded up and sentenced to death, all because you came to town and didn't talk too much and seemed like you were nasty. Anyway, here they are, the people who run Blackwater. Mr. Jeremiah Shaw, banker, real estate speculator, and crook. Mr. Amos Lansing, ranch owner, speculator, and crook. Mrs. Grace Lansing, his wife, society patroness, lover of the arts, crook, and my former best friend. Teddy Brown, her disgraced brother, outlaw, wanted man, and still in contact with them. All I ask of you is your help in finding out quite what happened.
Mrs. Leclerc would like to help you get back on your feet. Get back to work.
Whatever your work may be, I don't judge. You want to rob? Rob. You want to save innocent folk? Do that as well. But you need me just as much as I need you. I think we all understand each other.
I hope we do.
Good. I look forward to rewarding you for killing those who made me a widow. My husband was a true believer in this country and in the West. He was killed for greed. Foul greed when there's quite enough for everybody. I don't care what your scruples are as to killing. I will take the full burden of that sin upon my shoulders. Goodbye, for now. Then Hawley, go introduce him to nice Mr. Cripps.
I think you'll like Cripps well enough. He's long past his prime, of course, but he hasn't gone entirely crazy just yet. And he will help you, better than most of his ilk. Cripps! Get up!
Hello, partner. Harley.
This is your new boss.
Oh, pleased to meet you, partner. J.B. Cripps at your service.
We'll pay to get your camp established. Mrs. Leclerc is a generous benefactor.
And, where are we headed?
While Cripps is establishing your camp, perhaps you can go to the station and see the clerk, then head to see Clay Davies. He's a horse thief and not a terribly nice one. Then meet Cripps back at your camp.
See you shortly, boss.
Good luck.
Well, I couldn't believe my luck. I was free, and this lady who freed me, Miss Leclerc, wanted to sick me on those bastards who really killed her husband and help me clear my name. Fine by me. Fine by me. first things first, I need a horse, a posse, and my gear. For the horse, Horley sent me up to meet a couple of horse hustlers by the names of Clay and Clive Davies.
I win again. Did Horley send you, Pop? I'm Clay Davies. This is my brother, Clive. He don't talk. Maybe you two will get along better. Maybe not. Listen, I heard you wanted to earn some money. So, there's a gang of ne'er-do-wells. They are a bunch of degenerates, not good people. They're out of Manzanita Post with a bunch of horses they stole from me. Well, that's a lie, but they stole them off a fella I was gonna steal them off of. Maybe you could get them for me. You think you could do that for me, Pop? Looks like you're doing this on your own. Well, good. Meet me at the stable in Blackwater once you have the horse flesh. And I'll pay you good. Oh, and Pop, Horley wanted me to remind you, any decent work you can find, take it. But just try to stay out of trouble. Oh, and once you give me those horses, well, after that, we'll talk again. Oh, I do so enjoy these conversations. I'm used to them on account of my brother. Let's go, Clive. Well, Horley was right about you, dead right. Ain't that dandy? Get that horse hidden away, Clive, and ready to move out as soon as we can. All right. Here's some money you earned. Now listen, Horley came by and gave me a message. He said to go see your friend Cripps up at your camp. Now listen to me for a second. Any other decent horses you find, we'll buy them. Just as soon as we are set up, okay? Nice meeting you. You know what? Hold on, boy. I call him boy because I'm older. 30 minutes, he went black. Let's give our friend here back the horse. It's yours. A sign of faith and future business. If you want to buy any extras or sundries for the animal, head inside. They've got a lot available. See you soon. Come on, Clive.
How do you get on with Clay Davies? Horrible little wretch, in my opinion. Pop this and pop that. I'd like to pop him, a slime bucket. Anyway, I've got everything set up. Well, what we have so far, place is pretty nice. I think you did a good job for you. I'll earn my keep. When you get too old to fight, what choice have you got? It's either work or beg, and I'd rather work. Oh, I saw Horley. Now, he wants you to come down and meet him in Blackwater when you get a chance. I think he might have some work for you. Oh, and while you're out on your travels, you may see some folk with employment opportunities. Good folk, bad folk, looking for a tough guy with a gun to help them. Up to you if you listen to them, I guess. You know, I used to like that kind of stuff. One time, I almost helped a clown steal an elephant. But that's a very silly story. Welcome home. Make yourself at home. It is your home.
I was somewhat hesitant to go back to Blackwater. Given last time I was there, I'd been arrested, locked up, and tried for a crime I did not commit. But Hawley he assured me that both the marshal and the sheriff were out of town, and I should be able to slip in and out without much hassle. Hawley had mentioned that in a check-in with a man named Alden Carruthers at post office.
Hello. You must be Harley's friend. He's one of us. He said you also were a discouraged man. I'm very discouraged. Disappointed Alden, that's me. Anyway, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I find your reticence charming. Real charming.
I had 2 letters. One from that drunk Doug buddy Chris about some trading venture idea he had to make some money, and one from Horty asking me to meet him in Blackwater. The Crips could wait. For me, revenge was a dish I preferred to serve hot, and with Horty, that path to revenge was true.
Well, well, well.
Who's that, Harley? Who's that Batman?
Hello, Mr. Jones.
I said, who is that? Is that a kind man? Is that a good man? Is that a bad man? Is it the devil?
Maybe it's all of them at once. Maybe there ain't no devil. There's no kindness neither.
You is always a strange one, Harley. How is Mrs. Leclerc?
About as you'd expect.
I expect a lot. It's mighty bad business. Leclerc was a good man, a fine man.
That he was.
And this fella?
Well, that's their business.
Oh, that's the world's business. The world's business is kindness and gentleness and evil and brutality. What else is there, mister?
Well, there's a whole lot else besides. Like lust and greed and stupidity.
Oh, Mr. Jones is stupid. Oh, Jones is old. Oh, Jones has cooked himself in the sun. I know.
Get yourself something to eat.
There's fellas need help. Maybe this fella can help them.
Maybe. They're on the run.
Yeah, that ain't my business. My business is what they do hereafter. That's my business.
Well, they certainly need money.
Yeah, there's always money. Money for them is good, and money for them is not so good. But well, maybe they could first go see the sheriffs and see what work is afoot. I reckon, well, for now at least, we might as well try. The sheriff at Blackwater, he needs help. Not the fella that arrested you. That was the marshal. The police chief. He's a decent enough fella for all we know. Poor bastard is overrun, and he don't want old Jones.
There's a couple other sheriffs that need help. The tumbleweed sheriff's at the tumbleweed jail.
Maybe that'll show us what kind of fella this is. Go and pay 'em all a call. That's what I reckon.
Maybe. I guess we will see.
Well, that's that. Well, I got a plan at least. But for this venture, I'm gonna need a posse. I reckon I'll need a man who knows his way around a map. I'm gonna need a decent hunter to get this Crips trading venture up and running. And we're gonna need a man who can patch us up when we take a hit or two. And I reckon I know just the guys. First things first, I set about tracking down Jimmy Frisco, my shipmate from way back. It was just as likely he'd made his fortune. But as it was, he'd been gutted and left to bleed out in an alleyway for cheating at cards. I knew a bit about him. He loved the tales of the Old West and was keen to make a fortune the easy way, by stealing and cheating as much as he could, and most of all to have his name etched in the history of the most infamous gunslingers. When he left Rhodes all that time ago, he'd been set on tracking down some gypsy woman named Madame Nazir, who herself provided leads on and purchased treasures. Figured it would be easier to find her than Jimmy. Maybe she could point me in the right direction.
Hello, stranger.
You don't got the eye. Just an eye for a deal.
I told you, go away, old man.
Nothing but false prophecies and fake jewelry.
Go away, or I see much pain and suffering in your future.
A crook and a charlatan. Make sure you know what you're getting into with this one.
Hey, please, don't listen to him. I am Madame Nazar, channeler of spirits, finder of lost things, and, since everyone seems to be a fortune teller now, seller of the strange and exotic. Which one of these can I help you with today? Wait, don't speak. Let me see. Yes. You're searching for something. What though? A dead lover whose spirit you wish to contact on the other side? No, it's not that. It's not something you've lost, but something you're missing. Yes, purpose. Some meaning in the chaos of this life. Well, you see, that is something I can help you with. Come to work for me. I say I find things, but really, it is others who do the finding. I tell them what I'm looking for, and they collect it for me from far and wide. Sometimes with ease, and sometimes through great hardship. It is work that can be as honest or dishonest as you want it to be. How about it? Do you want to be one of my collectors? I make sure they are rewarded quite handsomely. A small fee is really the least I should ask for giving you what you're looking for and setting you up with everything you need to get started. There are more tools you may want from me in due course, but first, you will need to prove yourself. If you don't want to start now, you can find me again, and the offer will still be there. Oh, if money is the problem, then that is the first thing you should go looking for. When you found some, return to me, and I will set you on your way.
Well, when she stopped blathering, I told her she was right about one thing. I was looking for something, but I wasn't going to be conned into finding trinkets for her. She said she'd sent Jimmy to Big Valley on a trail of a hidden cave that was rumored to hold a lost treasure. So, I set off. I decided to go in quiet on account of bears and other treasure hunters, who I'd rather get the drop on than let them get the drop on me. Jimmy obviously heard me coming all the same. He had a gun to my head as soon as I dropped down the ladder. Mr. Frisco, I presume. I filled him in on my last few years, and he did the same. He changed a lot, I had to say, but I can't say I was any different. He was more than happy to head west, and we rode on, my posse now 1 member bigger, although now he was apparently going by the moniker Six Gun Jimmy Frisco. Next on the trail was finding Old Man Devil. When he came through my place all those years back, he mentioned a cabin in tall trees by the Aurora Basin. Wasn't quite sure where that was. Well, neither was Jimmy. But Jimmy suggested we stop by the visitor center in Strawberry to see what they knew.
Melon! Get down here! This has got to stop!
Madam, please!
No!
I'll be right with you.
I know you're up there!
Oh, marvelous. There she is. Just what I need. The crazy wood nymph. Can't a man take a bath in peace?
What the hell is that?
It's a panther.
You savage!
And a nice clean one now, too. This is going above the mayor's bed. Okay, Mrs. Hobbs will be by to handle the taxidermy.
Oh, travel safe, my friend.
Wait, who are you? Where's Cecil?
Glenn, I'm a friend of his. Cecil had to take a few days off. For stress.
Is there any animal that you have not slaughtered?
Oh, you flatter me, Miss
Sorry,
Davenport.
I really will be right with you.
The answer's no, but I'm retired, as you know, and have been for some time.
Yes, and how many have you out there killing for you now?
Not nearly enough, I'm afraid. Business is booming. What about you there? You a hunter? Gus McMillan, master craftsman of fine clothing and accessories. Here's my card. I pay top dollar for animal furs and parts. The rarer, the better.
Don't listen to him. Unbelievable. How do you sleep at night?
On the tiger bedspread, my dear. Seriously, come see me.
You're no better than a murderer. And one day, you'll be seen as such.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Would you mind taking us outside? I don't want any
Shut
trouble.
up, Glenn!
Listen, soon as a squirrel finds a cure for tuberculosis, let's talk.
If intelligence is the barometer of who has the right to live or die, you should have been court-martialed at birth!
Annoying, isn't she? See him? The only thing he had on his mind was hunger, sweetheart, but I pulled the trigger. Survival of the fittest, isn't that your mentor's trite catchphrase?
It's not survival of the fittest. You are killing to line your own pockets.
This is how I make my living. We don't all have a rich daddy. While you're camped out in the woods, making witches' brews and talking to the wildlife, the rest of us are doing some real work.
You think this is some big joke?
Oh,
That's
what
enough!
the hell is that crazy shrew? They should throw you in an asylum.
Oh, that's it! I quit! You can tell the mayor I've gone home.
Oh, sorry about that awful man, Harriet Davenport. I've been in the field now for 3 years, studying the hidden interconnections between animals of all species. I've seen everything. I've had joy, disgust, regrets, envy. We're so much more alike than we are different. I'm on the brink of discovering the pathways that link all life. I just need more research material. I have in here detailed notes on pretty much every animal from armadillo to Annisburg, including the locations of some truly impressive varieties. I would be willing to sell this to you if you will commit to bringing me anatomical samples from live species and promise not to carry out any more animal side in pursuit of Gus McMillan's greed. I'll pay you, of course. I promise I'm good for the money. You don't have to decide right now, just think about it. We've been brought together for a reason. I feel that very strongly. I've been experimenting with tonics that can provide access to remarkable new pathways of communication with other species. You have to live as they do, eat as they eat, hop as the toad, dig as the mole, love as the badger. If you see what I've seen, you just have to open your mind. Join me on a voyage of discovery.
Well, that was bizarre and a bust. Although I didn't mind the idea of playing these two fools, Gus and Harriet, off against one another. Didn't matter. Jimmy had spoken to some locals while I was being entertained by the show in the visitor center and had the directions to Aurora Basin. We rode south to tall trees and came upon the cabin. I could see Old Man Devil fishing on his dock. I told Jimmy to stand back with the horses. I told Jack about Cribb's trading company. Things hadn't gone as well for Jack in tall trees as he had hoped, and his response was, well, simple.
Red, you son of a bitch. I'm in.
I checked in the post office, and Strawberry and Holly had sent another letter. Managed to convince the marshal who arrested me that I might have been an innocent man. Marshal Davies, as he was known, was responsible for clearing out the dangerous De Lobos gang in the state. The gang was headed by 3 brothers, the Montez boys. He'd already killed one of them in somewhat dubious circumstances. Davies told Hurley that if we helped him with some of the De Lobos, he'd give me benefit of the doubt and let me move freely in New Austin. Hurley also mentioned he'd sent Cribbs ahead to Armadillo to get the lay of the land. I sent Jack ahead to meet with Cribbs in Armadillo and get the trading company up and running, get our camp set up in Gacktooth Breach.
She claimed to be royalty, but had a head the size of a pumpkin.
That must have been really something.
You made it, huh? Follow me. Now, like I said in my letter, we are going into business. I've been breaking down animals since I was knee-high to a splinter. And I worked as a tanner up in Wisconsin back in the 60s.
It's a very long story.
So I've got 3 words for you. Cribb's Trading Company. Pristine pelts and animal parts for bulk sale. I know the market's there. All I need is a partner. So I'm thinking you source the materials. Skins, plumes, horns, and the like. I'll clean them and prep them. Then you go out and make the sale. Hell, we might even eat well out of this for once, too. Wouldn't that be nice? Why are you still here with us?
Your provisions, Mr. Cripps.
Yeah. Pack the rest on there, will you? Now, with any opportunity comes risk. Competitors, thieves, me losing interest in the whole idea. But if we combine our talents, we'll be unstoppable. Now, I will require an initial modest investment, of course, startup costs and such like, but you'll recoup that as fast as you can say, "Hey, Cripps, you handsome genius." So how about it? Are you in? My talents extend. Good. Now, you won't regret this, I promise. Now, I've already got hold of a small wagon and most of what we'll need in terms of initial supplies. If you can grab that and bring it back to camp, we'll get everything set up. This is gonna be fun.
Hey, you can't be here.
Well, what do you think? Cripps Trading Company is officially up and running. So get out there and do some hunting. Time for us to make our fortune. I need some luxury and repose in my twilight years. If there's a fellow on this green earth that deserves a drink more than me today, I'd like to meet him. Anyway, don't let me keep you.
In the meantime, I needed to recruit one more member for my posse. I knew we'd be getting in a hell of a lot of fistfights and gun battles on this venture, and without a man to patch our wounds would be deadlier than a rotten cactus. There was no other choice. I had to track down Doc Rogers. The Doc. He'd been released a month or so before I was broken out of Cisco. He'd always told me he was keen to get into the life of shine and drugs and snake oil, and had a place he'd like to cook in Stillwater. So we headed south. It took a bit of searching, but we found the cabin. The Doc was passed out, drunk on his own shine, which smelled like death and tasted half as good. Once we roused him, as hungover as he was keen to see me and join the crew. He was the first to admit he was going to need a half-decent gang if he was going to go running drugs, snake oil, and shine. You might as well throw him with a crew hell-bent on violence, fortune, revenge, and legend. The Doc said he was now going by the name better. Gonna need a new name if I was gonna instill the kind of fear and death I was looking to inflict on those that had wronged me. Wild Red Richards was a known bounty hunter. He was known for being tough and also being fair. Well, life, the law hadn't been fair by me, and hell if I was planning return of the favor. Just like Jimmy and the Doc, I needed a new name and a new look. I decided then and there, from that day forth, I'd be known as Rattlesnake Richards, the most venomous bastard the West would ever see. There's only one thing left to do. I needed my guns. When I got picked up, I slipped a few dollars to the Blackwater deputy to smuggle my gear out and store it for my return. Unfortunately, when I got out, I found out he'd turned bandit. I told the boys to meet Cripps and Jack at Gattooth Ridge, where I'll be along shortly, on a road to where the former lawman had last been seen.
Okay? You're good. You're real good, friend.
Betray me once, well that's it, once. Cause I don't give second chances. Oh yeah, it's time to ride.